Hi, welcome back. So today I really want to dive into why we say in Ayurveda that you aren't just what you eat, you are what you digest. Why is this? Okay, let's get started. So we're going to talk about the seven dhatus, which translates in English to the seven tissues. These are Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda, Asti, Maja, and Shukra. So in English, that's Rasa is lymph and plasma, Rakta's blood, Mamsa's muscle, Meda is adipose tissue, Asti is bone, Maja is bone marrow, nervous tissue, and Shukra is reproductive tissue. Okay? So when you eat something, if you have sama, digestion, so balanced digestion, which is perfect digestion, which pretty much nobody has, then, well, regardless if you have perfect digestion or not, the food you take in nourishes each of these tissues consecutively. So the quality of your digestion becomes the quality of all of the tissues that you're made of. So, for example, I eat a delicious meal and I consume it, and the first tissue that it goes to nourishing is my lymph and my plasma. And then the lymph and the plasma nourish the blood. Okay? And then the blood nourishes the muscle, and then the muscle tissue. Blood nourishes the the muscle, and then the muscle nourishes the fat, the adipose tissue, and then the adipose tissue nourishes the bone, and then the bone tissue nourishes the nervous tissue, and then the nervous tissue nourishes the reproductive tissue. So you can see how all of these are connected and why it's important to have proper digestion so that all of your tissues are being nourished optimally. So let's see if I can actually break that down and make it even more practical, or make even more sense. So let's think about the lymph. So you have the lymph and the plasma, and that nourishes the blood. Okay, so they're kind of flowing in the same ocean, if you will. So through proximity, the Rasa, lymph and plasma nourishes the blood, and then the blood nourishes the muscle. So the blood flows through muscle and nourishes it as it's flowing through the tissue. And then you've got Meta that's connected to the muscle. And so through proximity again, the muscle nourishes the fat, the adipose tissue. And you've got bone tissue that is flowing, yeah, kind of growing through all of that. So that's the muscle and the fat are wrapped around the bone. So it's really important to have good muscle and fat tissue, especially for later on in life, to prevent against osteoporosis, for example. You don't want to eat a no-fat diet like we did in the 90s. Everything was no fat, low fat, yeah, all of that. So better to have quality fats, yeah, to have that quality meta, quality adipose tissue in your body to nourish your bones. I digressed a bit, but I really wanted to touch on that. And then the bone tissue nourishes the nervous tissue, so you have bone marrow in your bones, and so through proximity again, it sends its nourishment to the nervous tissue, and then the nervous tissue, by way of mental health, nourishes your reproductive tissue. So yeah, the reproductive tissue is the very last tissue to get nourished, which is what's the word or the phrase? It's conducive to sustaining life on Earth. Okay, because it's the last one also to kind of be thrown off balance, or to get really disturbed, I guess you could say. Um, so Shukra is reproductive tissue, the ovum and the semen. Ovum in the women and the semen in the men. I hope that was somewhat clear and made sense. There is more to it. Each dhatu, each tissue, has kind of subordinate or offshoot. They're called upa dhatus. It's like an extra tissue that gets nourished with each like main tissue. So, for example, when you nourish rasa, the lymph and the plasma, it uses some of that nourishment to also nourish breast milk and menstrual blood. And then rakta, when rasa nourishes rakta or blood, then blood also sends some of its nourishment to nourish blood vessels, basically. And for mamsa is nourished. Muscle is nourished through the blood. So the blood nourishes the muscle, and then the muscle sends some of that nourishment also to the skin. Okay, and then it goes on like this. So, sorry, I have to refer to my notes because I have not memorized that yet. So the fat tissue, so the muscle tissue nourishes the fat tissue or the adipose tissue, and then adipose tissue nourishes also the ligaments and joints with the nutrients it gets from the muscle. Anyway, so as you can see, when you eat, and then so each tissue sends some of its nourishment to these upadhatus, and then the rest goes off into waste. Okay, so each tissue also has waste product, except shukra, the reproductive tissue. So you can see it's a complex system in Ayurveda of how what we ingest actually becomes part of us. Like every single tissue, every single piece of us is constructed from the food we eat, and we know that intuitively. Duh, right? If we don't eat, we waste away. But I think we lose sight of the obviousness of that and the importance of it. And for me, this is like, I remember when I learned about what Ayurveda was, and I was like, well, duh, it's like the answer. I remember I just kept saying, it's the answer. It's the answer. Like, to all the questions. I just find this like beautiful profundity of Ayurveda and simplicity. Yeah, and again, this like obviousness of it. I don't know if that's probably not the best term to use, but it's the only one coming to mind right now. Yeah, and just how we really have the power at our fingertips, at the entrance of our mouth, to really choose our health and to help bring our body back into balance. and maybe reduce certain qualities or increase other qualities in order to live life in an optimal way and ideally in a blissful way. So I know this one was a little bit difficult to grasp. It's also a concept that's it's super exciting for me, but also very like complex, and there's lots of little pieces and nuances. And so, um, yeah, I'm happy to, as always, extend the conversation with you if you have questions, if you want more clarification. It also helps me to get also clearer on my explanations. Please feel free to like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like the content, you can subscribe. If you think someone that you know would love to hear about this, feel free to share it with them. Yeah, um, again, it's my passion. I love to talk about it, and I also really love the challenge of getting even clearer with my explanation. So thank you for sitting with me on this one, and looking forward to hearing from you, and stay tuned for what's next.